Now, please, Charles, don't go too far. Charlie Taylor. Oh, he's off. He's off. Charlie Taylor is going to be our next guest. There's a bit of a change to the programme. Charlie Taylor is our HM Inspector of Prisons. I don't know where he's gone, but hopefully he'll be back in a second. He has an extensive experience as a teacher, an expert advisor on children's behaviour at the Department for Education and as CEO of the National College for Teaching and Leadership. He led the 2015 review into the youth justice system and later became the chair of the Youth Justice Board, and he has continued working with the Department for Education as an advisor on behaviour hubs. Thank you so much. Please come and welcome Charlie Taylor.
Well, thank you very much indeed. It's a rather austere picture. It is absolutely wonderful to be here, and I'm looking around the room, and there are some people of a certain age who remember Fatima. We remember the heroics, particularly that world record, that incredible world record she brought, and also the World Championships as well. So when Fatima rings you up and asks someone of my age to come and help out, you cannot refuse because of what she's done, because of her great achievements. So it is wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to see such an amazing and eclectic range of people here. And I think we've seen from the panel and the conversation that we've seen today that actually, yes, there are lots of problems. Yes, there are lots of things that we should be worried about, that we should be concerned about, that we need to put pressure on governments, on ministers, on politicians. But there are also some things that we can really be pleased about. The fact that people are able to get into work, the fact that some social care is working incredibly well, that some bits of the system are outstanding. And I think it's very important today, as well as focusing on the depressing bits, that we also think about those things that are working well. But I just want to take you briefly on a journey into something that is a little bit more depressing, and that is the data on what happens to people who've been in the care system in prison. And when we go into a jail, we do a survey where we look at, where we go around a proportion of the prisoners and we ask them what it's like to be in this jail. And one of the questions we ask is, have you been in the care system? And the outcomes are consistently lower for that group of care leavers or care experienced prisoners. So I'll just give you a couple of headlines about this. So we ask if you've got mental health problems. 70% of those who've been in the care system who are in prison tell us they have mental health problems, against just 49% of other prisoners. 87% of women who've been in the care system who end up in prison tell us that they have got mental health problems, against about 50% of women elsewhere in the jail. That self-harming, 54% of women in prisons who've been in the care system say that they are a self-harmer, whilst just 37% of other prisoners are in that category. So we know that across the board, and with children as well, we know that across the board, 80% of children who end up in prison, 80% of those who've been in the care system end up in the segregation unit, end up being kept separate from everybody else. So imagine having had a childhood in which you've been deprived of some of the many things that those of us who've been lucky enough to have had. Imagine you're then in the ultimate deprivation, locked in an underground cell with only very limited amounts of human contact, only being able to speak to people or even get out of your cell for just an hour a day. And yet 80% of children who've been in the care system who end up in custody tell us that they've ended up in the segregation unit. And that is the thing that we need to change. That is the thing that the energy that comes from this room, from the people in this room, can and is able to change. And the other thing that I want us to think about as well, and everybody here will relate to this, is about the way in which different bits of the system work or often don't work together. The way in which people don't share information between different organisations, the way culture gets in the way of talking to each other, picking up the phone and sharing information. And we see those prison walls for children and adults who've been in the care system. Those prison walls are often a metaphorical wall against system on the outside being able to offer the support that care leavers need when they come out from jail. So the thing I would make an absolute plea for today, and a plea for the next 2 days, is about thinking about how do we get bits of the system to work together. So rather than just free spinning cogs of different people doing great stuff and great ideas, how do we make those cogs mesh together so that people who are in the care system, people who end up in prison, are able to get the support and the services they need, so that revolving door that I see far too often of mental health, of care leavers, of homelessness, of drug addiction, of criminality, and of prison, that revolving door stops. Have a brilliant rest of the day. Thank you very much indeed.
You can go now, I'll let you go. Some brilliant, brilliant, inspiring words there. Now, for a tea break, yay! It's been a fantastic morning so far, and I hope that you are all feeling ready for a nice cuppa, a little chat, and have a look at the exhibit. Also, while you're having your tea break, please, please, please find the draft white paper and sign it. And if you can all be back here, I'll say 11:15, but I might give you a little bit of leeway. I'll see you in a bit.